Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of Shameless in Chicago. This is your host, Nin.
And I'm Luke, and my feet smell.
Your feet always smell.
I know. How do you handle it?
I actually don't smell them today.
Oh, that's great. You know, I'm surprised because I always feel like they would keep me away. Like, this is the whole reason I would grow up alone and die alone.
Yeah. You literally told me I smelled bad in your TikTok.
I wasn't lying.
I don't smell bad, guys.
We're different kinds of smelling bads. Even your boyfriend agrees.
I mean, my boyfriend is the one that put me on blast.
I used to smell a lot worse.
What are you talking about? The way you smell?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Do I actually smell bad?
No, not at all.
Okay, thank you,
No.
guys.
Oh my gosh, no.
Okay, guys, this is for the record, so you guys don't think that we smell bad, because people can't smell us.
You smell fantastic. You smell fine. No, I always am self-conscious about how I smell because I used to work in a fish restaurant.
Yeah, no, you smelled like, disgusting.
I actually had one woman come up to me one day, and I was with my buddy at the front counter, and she said, is it hard to meet girls when you smell like fish like this all the time?
Oh.
And I said, that's not really the reason why it's hard to meet girls.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah.
Me smelling bad, I think, played into a factor of why I dated so much in my early 20s and teens.
So why do you think you were single back then?
I smelled.
Oh.
I wore the same shoes at the fish restaurant, to the gym,
Yeah.
to everywhere else I went. I had one pair of shoes for everything. I could not comprehend back then that was wrong. And I hate thinking about that time in my life.
Yeah.
So I think that was a big contributing factor. I was a smoker back then too, so I did smell.
You know what my brain is going? Like, my brain is getting that scent in my nostrils. And like, I'm not even kidding. I can smell the fish right now. Like,
The olfactory sense is one of the strongest.
I can smell it again. And guys, he smelled so
And
bad.
let me tell you, my car was disgusting.
Oh my God.
My car was full of trash. So, passenger princess, everyone that sat in my car was a passenger peasant.
Yep.
Even the one I had to stick in the trunk if there was room for you to fit in my trunk. So I would pick up people in this vehicle made in 1993 that sat 6 people.
Yep.
Full of garbage.
6 people in the front seat.
But I wonder why I was single back then.
No, I swear.
I think it was one of my red flags I smelled.
Oh, I have no red flags.
You are my red flag. I love that we have an updated shot of me saying that.
So on today's episode, we are going to be talking about why
You're.
single.
Yeah, that's right. You lonely hoes and hoettes.
Yeah.
Why are you still single? Is it because that you can't trust men because you're too focused at reading Are We Dating the Same Guy? Or are you just too busy getting your bag? What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on out here? Not just the ladies, but the men too. Why are y'all still single?
Yeah, I've started to get new to TikTok, and I'm having gay relationship TikTok come up, and I get this one little twink who always comes up and he says, dating while you're gay sucks because everyone's just looking out for the next best thing, which
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think he was wrong.
I don't think so either.
I found the best thing, so fuck all you boys out there.
Ooh.
But he's honestly not wrong because I was always looking out for the next best thing. I could care less if a guy like just ghosted me. I would just get back on Grindr and move on. It was almost like a game being single.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. Being single is not the end of the world. That's for sure.
No,
Let's
it's
put
not.
that out there. We're talking about why you are single. And I think number one is people keep thinking the grass is greener on the other side.
Right, but the grass is greener where you water it.
No, literally.
Gotta fertilize it, plant some seed, compliment it.
Nurture it, nourish it. Do things that make you uncomfortable.
And realize that when you get into a relationship, you're not with an already built person.
Yeah.
Did you have anything you had to work on when you met your boyfriend?
Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh, guys.
My. Call him out. Let him cook.
No.
Let him cook.
So when I first met my boyfriend, I honestly, love is blind. Is love blind? Not for me and my boyfriend. We were attracted to each other. That's literally how we started talking to one another. And he, as a male, he was different than I was, and he was different than any guy that I had dated before. One of the key things is that on our first date type of thing, his shirt was ripped. Yes, his sweater was ripped.
Strategically? Fashionably?
No, he had gotten it from the thrift store.
An already ripped sweater from the
Yep.
thrift
Yep.
store?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
So that was number one. So he's dating this bougie Middle Eastern girl. And I like people to, like, you know, taking care of themselves, you know? I mean, if you guys watch like Dubai Bling or like any of these things, like, you know, the notion for Middle Easterns is that we kind of like, we like to show up and show out. And so when our first date, he's wearing a ripped shirt, it's the complete opposite of showing up and showing out. So that was one of my things. I was like, ooh. And then, guys, his glasses, like his sunglasses, were protection glasses.
Like for a shooting range?
Yeah, like that type of thing. At like gas station shooting range type of protective eyeglasses.
So you met this country boy.
Yeah, country bumpkin.
Country bumpkin. And what'd you turn him into?
I turned him into Prince Charming, guys.
Turned him into a pseudo-Assyrian Prince Charming.
I swear. Oh, also when I first met my boyfriend, he was whitewashed. Yeah, I know. My boyfriend is Albanian, and so he didn't, like, his parents didn't speak the language to him, so he didn't speak the language. And he didn't really care that he was Albanian. He was like, yeah, whatever. But then he met me, fabulous old me, and he saw how proud I was of my Assyrian culture and heritage and everything. And he's like, wait, let me get into mine a little bit more. And he's gotten into it. So he started to learn Albanian. So that's one. He went from a guy not knowing how to speak any Albanian to a guy who is learning it and can pretty much understand it now. 2, I went from a guy shopping at the thrift store thinking that the thrift store was the cheapest place to get clothes when he realized that Macy's clearance section has 0 ripped t-shirts and they are sometimes even cheaper. And 3, I went from a guy wearing like glasses that were protective eyewear to a guy who understands what polarized sunglasses means.
You gotta actually protect your eyes, bro.
And then the last thing that I will note that is really important, he did not know how to cook. His definition of quote unquote cooking was taking the bird's eyes steamed broccoli in a bag, putting it in the microwave, emptying out the contents, and putting cheese on it and calling that cooking.
Bird's eyes steamed broccoli.
Yeah.
I literally thought we were talking about how he was going to pull out the eyes of a chicken.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You know, that's gourmet cooking then at that point.
What, your fuck gras? No, thank you.
Listen here, some gourmet food. So yeah, that was my boyfriend when I first met him. How about you? How about when you first met your boyfriend?
Oh God. I love you if you're watching. I do that every time we talk about him.
I swear.
My boyfriend was a smoker. Cigarettes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I was a smoker for a long time. Like, I was a very heavy smoker.
Mm-hmm.
When I met him, I was a vapor. I vaped a lot because I was so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I did tell him pretty up front that I don't want to kiss a smoker.
Yeah.
I kind of worked really hard to get away from that, and I didn't want to have that taste back in my mouth. And also, after a while of not smoking, it's gross.
Mm-hmm.
It does make you nauseous. And that was very early on. I actually don't think I ever saw him smoke. I've never seen him smoke a cigarette.
Mm-hmm.
So he worked on that pretty quick. Our first Christmas together, which is probably a month after we met, I bought him a vape, and he has not turned back ever since. And I've been so proud of him. He's a lot cleaner. When we first met, his apartment was kind of in shambles. There was kind of stuff everywhere. There was a cohesiveness in like the dining area and the living room area. It was all nicely decorated. But the further back he got, the more it was just kind of like, oh, there's just stuff here.
Yeah.
Just stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But he is a better decorator than me. I will tell him that. He just had a lot of things, and I don't think he knew what to do with them back then. And one other thing is that he wasn't an animal lover, but there was like something weird about it. I felt like he was.
Yeah.
So I went to Florida one week, and I said, hey, I need you to watch my cat.
Mm-hmm.
My little 3-legged cat. If you see my TikTok, you know who I'm talking about. And he did. He watched my cat for like a weekend, and he fell absolutely in love with my little gray 3-legged furball. He got his own cat. That he's like bonded with this cat now. He's had for over a year.
Oh, wow.
And they've become like the little best of friends. The cat hates me.
Yeah.
The cat, I don't know how to handle not having love from a feline because that's just not how it goes for me. But I'm happy he's happy.
Yeah.
But I think that my boyfriend was he seems happier now. I will say I do think he seems happier, and I'm a lot happier too. I won't say how I've changed because I'm perfect.
No, literally.
But yeah, no, men are work. You have to put in the work if you want to get what you want. It's not just going to be handed to you on a silver platter because that's not how the universe works. God's not going to give anything to those who do not work for themselves.
No, that's actually very true because like in our situation, we had men with grass. It was grass, but it just needed to be tended to. Like
A little spray paint maybe.
Yeah, a little bit of water here and there, a little nourishing, because we knew things in the relationship and we had to teach our boyfriends things. Like, hey, like, and like our examples go to show that somebody can present to you with the things that are your quote unquote ick, right? Smoking, ew, gross. I don't smoke. You shouldn't smoke. And then my thing is, oh, I cook and you don't cook. Like, you need to be able to take care of yourself. Oh, your shirt is ripped. Ew, gross. Like, you know? And it's like, if I nitpicked every little thing, I would have missed out on an incredible person and an incredible relationship. And if you guys go out and see like these happy-go-lucky couples and you're just like, guys, what is your secret? And they'll be like, oh, my secret is this. My secret is this. But honestly, the secret is that you have to continue to choose each other. And if a guy comes up to you and presents himself to you, or a girl comes up to you and presents herself to you, and you're like, okay, this is missing, I don't want it. There might be somebody else who like crosses their T's and dots my I's, but there really isn't. If God is putting somebody in front of you by chance, by fate, by whatever means it is, and you kind of like this person, if that person is also willing to put in the work themselves, then your relationship can work.
I think we've said it before. There is going to be no right person, wrong time, because the right person is going to present themselves at the right time. And you have to actually work to seize that opportunity. Otherwise, it will pass you by. This world is very unfair. It's very cruel. It will not give you a second chance. If you pass someone up, they could be gone. They could step off the curb after you say no and get hit by a bus, God forbid. And then you'll never be able to know what your relationship was going to be like.
Yeah, or they'll meet somebody that was meant for them. Like, you know, because you didn't seize that opportunity for yourself. And also we're not saying that like if you meet a guy or a girl and they have these traits and they're like, no, I'm not willing to work on it. And then they don't put in any work to work on themselves. We're not saying change the person completely. We're saying help improve their lives. Like my boyfriend learning how to cook, that's a life improvement. You telling your boyfriend like, hey, don't smoke, maybe don't smoke, that's improving their lives. But telling them to change their entire character and their personality, that's a different story. But always be with the person who's willing to improve themselves. And as should you, you should be willing to improve yourselves as well. I mean, we joke around, we don't have red flags, but we did have things when we started off in our relationships. Like for me, when I first started off in my relationship, I had an anxious attachment style, like anxious avoidance. Like if he got too close to me and showed me that he loved me, I was like, oh God, no, like I don't want you. And then if he showed me like that distance, that space, I'd be like, wait, can you tell me that you love me? Can you tell me that I'm the greatest? And that might have gotten annoying for him, but he was willing to work with me on that. And when I was like, hey babe, I'm feeling anxious, he dropped everything and would tend to me and be like, okay, let's work through this together, because he saw that I was trying to work through it and he was going to help me with it.
I had a lot of learning to do myself. My boyfriend's a veteran. He also comes from, a family that's from outside the United States.
Yeah.
So he thinks very differently than I do. He has different anxieties. He's got different triggers than I do. And some things that I take as, little fun here and there, in his mind, it's anxiety inducing, or it's something that I need to work on because it triggers him in some way. So I had to kind of learn to say, hey, there's more than just this one person in the relationship. If it's going to work, I have to grow with my person and make sure that I am presenting a comfortable atmosphere for them to be in a relationship in.
Yeah. And that brings me to my next point. What makes you willing to change for your partner?
Love is what would make me change for my boyfriend. The moment I saw this man, there's a chemical reaction in my brain that said, I need to have this in my life. So I was willing to make compromises. I'm willing to change. I'm still willing to grow if I need to change, because we're ever changing people.
No, 1,000%. And I would have to agree. It's the love and the willingness to work together, I think, is very important. It's not, you need to do this for our relationship to be better.
No, that's a prenup.
Yeah, no, I swear. It's not like the pointing the finger. It's you. It's we can maybe do X, Y, Z so we can do this. And then in turn, you can feel like this.
Right. And when I say love, I don't mean that I'm not a believer in love at first sight for sure. But I am a believer in that you can achieve what you want through work.
Yeah.
And I saw something that I wanted with this man and I said, I need to get this. It didn't feel like love. It didn't present itself as love.
Yep.
But looking back, I think it was like the very seed that started this whole relationship is that I needed to be with this man.
Yeah. Yeah. You have this little seed.
Mustard seed right there of faith. And it grew into this whole relationship.
And it's the most beautiful thing. And so let's say you meet somebody and you're like, oh, gosh, I don't like that one thing about him. You can have a conversation, be like, are you willing to change this? And if you said straight up like no, he still might be willing to. Let's be real, because when
everyone has a price.
Everyone's willing to do something if they like really fall in love with you and your personality and your personalities mesh and they click and your foundations are there, then it might be something that can work. Like the foundations is honestly religion. You guys have to be on the same spectrum or the same ideologies when it comes to religion, because when you're not, it makes it a little bit difficult. When I first dated my boyfriend, he didn't come from a religious background or a religious family, but I was like, look, I'm Christian. Would you be willing to learn more about it and then eventually convert? And he's like, yeah, I'm open to learning. And so that was fine. But I had somebody else who said, oh, I'm an atheist and I will never ever convert. I was like, ooh, yeah, no, we're not gonna do that. That's a
so religion's super important for you.
Exactly. For me personally. For other people, if you're like wishy-washy about religion and so is your partner, then that might not be the biggest thing.
I'll date a witch.
Oh my gosh. What about for you? What's like something that's very foundational for you?
I mean, I need someone who I can be around. I'm very annoyed easily. I'm very kind of picky with the people that I think I put myself around on a regular basis. I see my boyfriend 4 to 5 times a week.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I need someone I could be silent around. I need someone I can just randomly have conversations with. I don't know how I would call that into a foundation because we're just two really well meshing personalities.
Yeah.
I just need that. I don't know. What would you call it? That yin to my yang, you know?
Yeah. That connection.
Yeah.
That understanding without even having to speak.
Right. And we build that because we've learned so much about each other. I know his background. He knows mine. He grew up in a more religious background. I grew up in a family that didn't believe in, organized religion. We didn't. I was baptized Lutheran. I think I walked into a church 4 times in like 16 years.
Yeah. But I think that's very important to touch basis on is that you guys have to really understand each other. I had a guy that I went on a date with and our date was going so well. Like it was so much fun. And then at the end of the night, he was like, hey, do you want to go sit by Montrose Harbor? And if you guys know where Montrose Harbor is, it's like steps, like rocky, like concrete steps, and you get a view of like the city in the most beautiful, picturesque way. And I was like, yes. I was like, but just to tell you, like when I go to Montrose Harbor, I just kind of like sit there and like reflect. Like I'm not really sociable. This is like my quiet time that I just like want to listen to nature and just like the cars driving by and the waves splashing. And he's like, okay, yeah, for sure. So we go there anyway, and we're sitting there and he's trying to have a conversation with me. And I was like, I said I don't want to talk. I said I'm not interested in having conversations when I'm here. And then by the time the date finished, he goes, wow, you weren't kidding. You're really boring when you just want to sit and look at the waves and the city.
Now, with the right person, someone's going to want to sit there and watch it with you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's when I was like, oh, like, not saying that it wouldn't work. I mean, me and that person ended up becoming really good friends, but nothing really more because we clicked in a friendship basis, but not really. We didn't understand each other. He was like, let's go party. And I was like, I don't want to party. Like, that type of thing. So...
No, I totally understand because you have to mesh with, like, my boyfriend doesn't like the nightlife. I do like the nightlife, however, but it's not a problem for him to me and go out and have that nightlife because I'll stay up past 11 o'clock and, go to a bar with some friends if the occasion arises. Yeah. While he's more of a, I want to be in bed by 11 kind of deal.
Yeah.
But it's that mutual understanding that we have these boundaries in our relationship that we know that, hey, it's okay if I go to a bar with my friends. It's just that we have to make sure, we just keep each other updated.
Yes, and no man is going to meet you 100%.
Never. Oh my,
Never.
that's such a funny thought. Ew. I can't even imagine what that looks like.
What do you mean?
A man that meets you 100%?
What do you mean by that?
I don't know what that would be like.
Oh, like crosses your T's, dots your I's is like 100%.
Because I don't even know what I need.
Well, okay, like for example, for me, like I'm a night owl, right? Like I'm up until like 12, 1, 2 in the morning if you need me to. My boyfriend, on the other hand, he's asleep at 10:30. Like 10:30, he's out. And I'm like, okay, well, I have 4 hours. But he is going to wake up at like 5, 6 in the morning and he will like text me like, good morning at like 6 a.m. And I'm just like, I just fell asleep 4 hours ago, you know? And so like, that's very common with like Middle Eastern culture is like men and women, like we stay up so late and I don't know why we are this way. Whereas for Europeans, like they wake up very early, like they're early risers. And you can even look at it. Like we were actually comparing our grocery store hours, a Balkan grocery store and a Middle Eastern Assyrian grocery store hours. And the Balkan grocery store literally closes at like 5, 6 o'clock. And the Assyrian one closes at like 9, 10 o'clock.
I'm sorry. Are the Balkans not working from like 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. that they can just go grocery shopping? I need a grocery store that's open until at least 9 p.m.
And then, but even if you look at hookah bars, right? They're open till like what, 4 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, sometimes they are.
Yes, exactly. And like, it's just our culture. Like we're up so late at night and like my boyfriend can't.
It's
can't
because
meet
of
me
the
there.
coffee. I'm going to tell you right now. If you ever have an Arabic coffee, whatever it comes in that little pour, it's like crack.
Yeah, it really is.
It's crack straight to your heart. Drink it like a shot and you'll die.
Yeah.
You'll meet Allah.
But like your partner will not meet you 100%. So like don't be like pissed off about these little things, but you also need to be with a partner who like respects and understands and is willing to have these conversations. Like my boyfriend knows that he's not staying up till 10:30, so he's not going to be the person to go out with me like late at night. Like yes, here and there he'll come out with me, but most of the time I'm like, hey girls, you trying to go out? Or like even Luke, he'll be like, hey none, you trying to go out? Like we have a friend to like supplement where our partner is not meeting us. I think that's important to have as well.
Yeah, I agree. So, the reason that you're all single, I'm pointing at all of you, is because you're in your heads too much.
Yeah.
You're way too stressed out about the littlest things. You're way too stressed out about having a relationship that matches those you see on TikTok and Instagram. I won't lie. I see the gay relationship TikToks and I'm like, man, those guys look like they go to the gym together every single day and wake up at dawn to hold hands. I want that. Well, guess what? I have a different version of that, and I'm happy with that because that's mine, and that will be mine, and I know that's mine.
The other reason why you are single is because you are overthinking every single thing that the person you are with does. If they don't do XYZ, then I'm out. If they don't do XYZ, then I'm out. You're already looking for the relationship to fail when it hasn't even started.
Period. And that's why I always say stay away from the are we dating the same guy groups. I can't say it enough.
No,
It's just a toxic cesspit.
It really is. And you're reading like everyone else's like kind of quote unquote failures, really.
That's true. And everyone's just kind of calling themselves out.
Yeah, it's like you are not the same as the other person. You are not the same as the other girl. You are not the same as the other guy. It's not to say, oh, I'm not like other girls. Like I hate that shit. But you might be bringing something to the table where somebody else didn't. And somebody might have behaved a certain way because of what somebody else brought out in them. Of course, people on Are We Dating the Same Girl or Dating the Same Guy, they're going to make themselves look like the best version of themselves. Nobody's going to talk shit or downplay themselves. Absolutely not. So you're only hearing one side of the story.
Always remember that you need to give people a chance. If they don't look a certain way, if they don't act a certain way, we're all still growing, we're all still changing. And if you see potential with this person, then it's probably best to chase it, because how often do you actually see potential in a person? If you're looking at someone, if I look at Nan across the room and I see, man, I just need her to dye her hair blonde, she'll do it. No, she won't. Will you?
Yeah.
You'll dye your hair blonde for me?
Yeah.
See, look at that compromise. I'll go get the bottle.
But like, that's the thing too, is that You have to have that initial attraction. Love is not blind, honestly, guys. Love is not blind. You have to have an initial attraction to your partner, because if you are not sexually attracted to your partner, what is the difference between them and a friend?
And also, don't be afraid to be attracted to your partner just because they don't fit some sort of view that you think they should have based on what your friend group likes.
Yes, or what society deems as attractive.
Show your friends that photo on your phone without saying, I swear he looks better in person. Just show them. That's what he looks like. Be proud of it.
Be proud of the person you are with, and be proud of who you are. Like, you like a person, you don't have to explain yourself why you like that person. If you like them, you like them. And like Luke said, don't compare yourself to other people's relationships. Like, everyone posts on TikTok or on YouTube. You see these like...
And how many takes must they do in between, and how many fights must they have because they don't get the perfect shots or because someone's messing up a line?
No.
What's happening behind that TikTok, you have no idea.
You have no idea. Like, when me and Luke record Armand's music videos, like for Almighty Airmain, how many times do we argue?
Oh my God, we argue all the time.
No, literally.
We can't agree on a shot. We can't agree on how someone's supposed to hold a guitar.
No, literally.
We can't agree on how the lights should be placed. We can't agree how the camera moves. But it all comes out into something amazing in the end.
Right. Like, we are bickering. So, but like the thing is that we know it's like not like that serious.
But it's also, it's like we have that relationship where we know that we can work on things to improve them because we have the ability to communicate with each other.
And that's what's important, is communication. And these family channels that you see, like, let's not even go far. Like Ace Family, for example, like they were this like #1 YouTube like family channel, always showing their face that they were so happy and so in love, only for them to end up being divorced, you know? And it's like, you don't know what is going on behind closed doors. Another one I can think of is Jesse. I forgot his last name, but there was Gina and Jesse. They were like OG YouTubers. They had like the relationship that everyone wanted. Everyone was like, oh my God, you guys are the relationship that I want. But they ended up breaking up. They were together for 10 years and they broke up, and they filmed a video a couple months ago and they said, yeah, we love each other, but we would never get back together. But this just goes to show is that don't compare yourself to people online, because you truly do not know what is going behind closed doors. So work on your relationship together as an item, as a partner. You guys are equal in it together. Don't be like, oh, but this guy does this for his partner and this girl does this for her partner.
Well, what are you doing for your partner?
Exactly.
Focus on yourself.
Period.
And when you are dating, remember that you are communicating in the way that you are perceiving communication. Right? Follow me? So you have to learn how other people will perceive your communication. Because a roommate story. My former roommate, I love you and miss you. We hated each other for like 2 years.
You did.
We knew each other for 10 plus years at that point. However, we were awful at communicating. And then at one point, right after year 2, we lived together for 5 years. After year 2, we started just to sit in the same room together after work. I think it says when COVID hit. And so we sat in the same room together. We started to learn how to communicate. And we would say, hold on, the way that you just said this makes me feel like you're saying it in a way that's aggressive, but is that how you're meaning it? We would literally say these things to each other. And our relationship flourished because we were able to say, I'm so sorry that you took it that way. That was not my intention. We learned how to communicate with each other because we had such vastly different perspectives of communication.
Yeah. And that's also so important, is that the way you communicate and your partner communicates, it might be different at first, but over time, if you guys continue pushing through, you'll end up meeting at the same place, at the same spot. And then you end up in a 5-year romantic relationship.
Roommate-tic.
But we're going to act like it was a romantic relationship.
Yeah, I mean, she was basically my wife. We called each other domestic partners.
I mean, you practically were.
Yeah, we paid the bills together. We had a cat together.
Yeah. And like other things also is when you're going into a relationship, I see all of these like advice pieces and advice columns on the internet and stuff like that. And like some of them just like really piss me off. It's like, would you let your partner do this? Or would you let your partner do this? That's those people's relationships. That's not your relationship. You know your relationship better than anyone else does. Why are you seeking other people's advice for what they would do if it was their relationship, you know? And also, based off of that, talk to your friends, and your real friends will help you think it through and process it a little bit better. And that's also really important, is don't look for outside factors to penetrate your inside relationship. Don't go to people gossiping about your relationship, because people would rather see you fail than succeed. And that's why the saying goes is that keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer, because your enemies are sometimes your closest friends. And like we did in that one, the Reddit story, it was the best friend.
Oh my God. She tried to sleep with a man's husband. Guys,
Yes.
you have to go back and look at our r/advice video. That story was wild.
Yes, but that just like goes to show is that when you're in a relationship and you're in a happy and healthy relationship, sometimes the people closest to you will want to see it fail. And that's why, like, don't let your outside friends penetrate your inside relationship. Work through it together with your partner, and that will help your relationship flourish. Alrighty, everyone. Well, thank you so much for listening to our episode. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel. Go ahead and watch us on YouTube if you're not already at Shameless in Chicago. And also, please give us a 5-star rating on anywhere you are listening to this podcast, whether it be Spotify or Apple, iHeartRadio, wherever you're listening to it. Give it a 5-star rating. We look forward to hearing and seeing you guys on our Instagram page at Shameless in Chicago. And we will see you guys all back here next week. Remember, we have brand new audios on Wednesday and brand new video on Thursday. So we will see you on Wednesday.
All right, everyone. Join us next time as Nen breaks into the Love is Blind house and forcibly opens everyone's eyelids because love is not blind and no one looks like Megan Fox.
Ooh, period.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.